you can go check out Cali Connection Disc Golf.
Stay connected.
Hi, I'm Pavo Stubstad with Pure Hyzer Productions. With me today I've got Nick Long, Tahoe's highest rated player, and we're going to give you round one coverage of King of the Lake. Nick, why don't you tell me a little bit about the tournament?
King of the Lake, it's a 5-round, 3-day. This year was an A-tier tournament, and really it's a test of endurance.
It really is. 5 rounds and 5 different courses all around Lake Tahoe, all at elevation, 6,000 feet, which for those who don't know makes discs fly a bit differently. It might be a bit of a struggle for those traveling up to play the tournament from a lower elevation. A new course every round. Round 1 is 27 holes. I mean, it really is quite a test of endurance.
Yeah, that's something a lot of people don't realize, that aren't used to playing elevation or shifting elevation. When you go up in elevation, your disc gets much more stable. So that's something you really need to be aware of. That's
true. A lot of people, when they play at elevation, they'll switch out half their bag for more beat-in discs or just less stable discs in general. I know I switch out several discs for the same shot at 6,000 feet versus sea level, so that's another interesting element. Not to mention just the unique terrain that the Tahoe courses have to offer. I mean, a lot
of mountain golf. A couple of the courses, there's huge elevation changes on any given hole, and it's another angle. It's another angle you have to contend with when disc golfing, and it's another thing a lot of people aren't really used to. So that's a good challenge.
What makes the tournament so fun, and that's one of the main reasons I decided to cover all 5 rounds for Pure Hyzer Productions, because it's 5 different courses. They're all unique and interesting, and just getting to watch top-level players tackle these courses I think will be really exciting. And for round 1, the first course is Bijou in South Lake Tahoe, where Nick is actually from.
Yeah.
So he should hopefully have some interesting local knowledge to share about this course, and he will be in the video as well.
Yeah, round 1 features me and Patrick Brown, Nikko, and Jessica Weese.
That's right. We got a feature card that I put together with the help of TD, Dave Polivy, just to keep the first round interesting. And then for rounds 2 through 4 on different courses around Tahoe, we're going to be just following the pro lead card. But we got an interesting mixed divisions card for this first round at Bijou.
Yeah, Bijou, 27-hole course. Maybe the gentlest terrain out of all 5 courses. It's pretty flat, a lot of trees out there, a lot of shots to navigate.
That's true. It's technical, but it's a lot flatter than most Tahoe courses. In that sense, it doesn't feel as much like mountain golf, but there's a lot of pine trees, a lot of big trunks to deal with, which is kind of a different type of obstacle than a lot of disc golfers are used to dealing with trees that you can throw over, at least if you're one of the top players. And here, that's not an option with 200-300 foot tall pine trees.
Right. Yeah, you're not going over these trees.
Yeah, and recently I believe a lot of improvements have been going into Bijou as well, right?
There's been a lot of work out there. The locals we've got a really good club, and there's a lot of work that goes into the course. Just a lot of volunteer work, and we have like a local soup series once a month, local tournament where it's a $5 donation, and everyone gets together. It's a really good turnout, and all that money goes back into the course. So it's a really good scene out there at Bijou.
Absolutely, at Bijou, and not to mention all the other courses around Tahoe. I mean, Tahoe is really full of a lot of disc golf enthusiasts, and they've got a lot of great courses to show for it.
Yeah, it's really become a mecca for disc golf, the whole Lake Tahoe scene.
It definitely has. So I'm excited to show you all 5 rounds of coverage from 5 different courses at this tournament, and to have none other than Tahoe local Nick Long commentating with me for the first round.
Yeah,
so
happy to be
I think you're all excited to see it too, so let's get to it.
Yeah, let's check it out.
This is it, King of the Lake, round 1, feature card. First on the tee, we've got Jessica Weese from Grass Valley with a rating of 942.
I'll be teeing off second, currently rated 990.
Nikko will be teeing off third, rating 1035, also from Grass Valley.
San Francisco's Patrick Brown teeing off fourth.
Hole 1 here at Bijou is in the B pin. It's 333 feet.
And this is a pretty tight gap off the tee here.
All right.
So it's really
Good luck.
placed well for a flick through the middle. That's an idea.
Yeah, it's a pretty tough hole to start off on for sure. There's no wide gap in the trees to speak of. And that little gazebo you see down there is OB. It rarely comes into play because it's small, but
That's about where the basket is too. There she is. Jessica catches a tree. It's a pretty good looking shot.
here's Nick.
And I thought I hit my gap here, but it just drifts a little to the right on me and catches that tree.
It's a little too much turn.
That's the line I was looking for. Good shot there by Nikko.
Give him a look for 2. And last but not least, Pat Brown. Wow. That's quite the gap to hit.
That'll give him a putt.
Over there by the second tee pad, just deep left.
A long look at it.
Yeah, better than hitting either of those trees.
For sure.
Nice upshot from Jessica, just puts it there for a par. Nice up from Nick as well.
Patrick with a long look.
And he gave it a chance. Went on the pro side. Nikko with about a 35-footer maybe? 30-footer.
He gets off to a good start. That's a good birdie. A 1.
King of the lake. First putt.
One of the tougher ones to get on the front 9 at Bijou. Couple of tap-in pars, and Nikko gets the only birdie on the first hole. Hole 2 in the B pin, only 272 feet, but it's a tough shot.
Yeah, the road was only 8 or 10 feet behind the basket there. So you gotta be careful on this tee shot.
Behind it and to its right.
Yeah.
The road turns right around the basket, and that fence you see there is a dog park that's also OB.
Nikko plays the backhand approach very nicely.
That's the shot you're looking for right there. It's definitely a good sidearm hole.
Yeah, I like to take the flick route on this hole as well. Can usually keep it pretty safe. But not always. This one gets away from me a little bit and goes out and actually skips across the road, so it wasn't even really close to staying in.
Yeah, it just flattened out a little too much on you. And here the wind picked up by about 10 miles an hour as soon as Pat stepped on the tee.
Flattens his out a bit too much as well, and also finds the pavement.
Jessica with a long look at 2.
And that dropped nice and flat for her. Almost found the basket.
That was a really smart play. Give it a chance, but didn't flirt too much with the OB. And
Straight in wherever.
there's where Nick's went, across the road, on the other side.
Right this.
And anything road and beyond is OB on any holes with these roads at Bijou. First couple holes of the morning.
Yeah,
What are you going to do?
It would be an unfortunate bogey to...
Everybody's got to warm up a little. And Patrick really only a few feet from staying safe for a 3P.
Yeah, I thought that was going as well, but it stopped before the road back there.
It did. It was kind of hard to tell. It drops off a little, but... And there's Nikko with a tap-in birdie. 2 for 2.
Great start. This is a hole that you really want to get, you know.
You really either want to 2-it or get a 3P. You know,
Absolutely.
if you run it and go out of bounds, you're still usually close enough to get that 3P. So Nikko with another birdie there is 2 down now. Jessica with the par and a couple of 4Ps from Nick and Pat. Hole 3 in the A pin, 228 feet.
This is one of the easier holes in the course here. It's just for a righty backhand anyhow. It's just a real smooth little hyzer.
Very straightforward.
A few guardian trees coming in if you're deep or early, but
even so, they're close enough to the basket that you can hit them and still have a putt.
absolutely. Nikko finds the gap there nicely. Slides up to the basket.
You can hear the dogs barking there. There are a couple dog parks close to this part of the course. And Jessica put a little too much power on that and is a little deep, but she's still got to look at 2.
Really want to get this one after that bogey on hole 2. Hit my line real nice.
Yep. Slid it right up there.
Another smooth shot by Patrick.
Yep. This is a hole that I think most of the open field pretty much expects to get.
Jessica puts a nice run on the basket, just a few inches low.
Nikko with another birdie.
He's never really too sure about those 16-footers, but he nails them from 50 all day long.
There is some truth to that statement. Nick and Patrick with good birdies as well. And Jessica even almost hit her long jump putt there from about 40 or wherever she was. Almost a star frame. Well, that brings Nick and Pat back to even. Tied with Jessica, and Nikko's taken off.
Yeah, starts off with a turkey at the king of the lake. It's got to be a good feeling.
Hole 4 in the D pin is 516 feet. This is a tough shot. It's far. It still plays as a par 3, of course. It's a lot of trees. The road to the left, again, is OB.
And this is a really, really, really impressive shot by Nikko here. I've never. This is my local course, and I've never seen this. He throws one up to within the circle on this 500+ foot hole through the gap in the trees with the OB left, and he just peered it.
Absolutely. It was a phenomenal shot. And
Really,
you could
really
tell he
impressive.
hit the gap he was trying to hit, too. That one just turned over a little much, but
I'm fine with that shot.
It's
This
nice
is
and
a
open
hole
out
where-
there.
Yeah, stay away from the road and get up and down for a 3 most times from there.
that's how I always play this hole, too. That's how I think most people would play this hole. Nikko Locastro being one of the few exceptions.
He's not most people.
He is not. And his shot, too, the way, I mean, he put a lot of hyzer on that. That was the definition of a controlled hyzer flip shot that still finished left at the end. Just
Really impressive disc golf shot. Jessica with the rip here.
starting to come back.
You know, I threw mine pretty clean, and when that was in the air, I was thinking to myself, don't fly over my disc.
She's not most people either.
She's got a really smooth backhand and forehand.
Patrick's upshot after hitting some trees. Perfect. It's right there. And for those who don't know, actually, Jessica is here one weekend after winning her first national tour event at
That's
Beaver
right.
State Fling.
That's right. Congratulations to Jessica on her first national tour win up there in Oregon. Really impressive against a talented field.
Absolutely. Nick goes for the Annie upshot, and he's right there. If you're playing this hole for 3, like you were saying, going way off to the right there is not a bad place to be. It's more open than most other upshots you could be looking at.
Plays just fine for a 3. You know, unless you can do this, it's a fine score on this hole.
Here's Nikko from about 20, maybe 15. Solid putt, and
is that considered an eagle?
No,
They're calling it a par.
This is a par 3.
In the past, they have called that a par 4. I think a 3 is more accurate.
It is. I think the hole's 515, 520, somewhere in there.
But first 2 that I've ever witnessed.
Yeah.
Playing this hole many times. I've never seen a throw in or anyone get nearly that close.
First 2, and it was a easy putt too. I mean, it was all in the drive.
So Nikko starts off with the 2 on the first 4 holes. Really great start here.
Holes 1 and 4 being very impressive out of those first 4. Hole 5 is no easy hole either. 417 feet in the C-pin. Slightly uphill too.
Good rip. It'll give him a putt there.
Great shot by Nikko once again in the circle. Quite get enough turn out of that.
That looked good. Nice, Patrick.
Really nice drive by Patrick Brown.
Yeah, he's right there by Nikko. They both nailed the line. Jessica really gave that shot 110%. You could tell, you could hear that snap. And that is Nikko's and Pat's drives. Only a foot apart, both just a little deep. Jessica with a good upshot, getting her 3, which really is the best that probably any FPO player could expect on this, with maybe the exception of Paige Pierce. Good upshot from Nick, and he's there for a par as well.
Nice putt by Patrick. Good birdie on that hole there, number 5.
That's a tough one to get.
Yeah.
Another one of the hard ones in the front 9. And here's Nikko from almost the same spot. In and out.
Just dances out on him. And that's his first miss of the tournament.
And he still had a look too. He's been giving himself putts on every hole. Four down after 5 holes still is nothing to complain about. Patrick with that birdie's 1 under now. Hole 6 in the B pin, 351 feet. Pretty open and Hyzer shot. The basket protected by some trees.
Come on with the wind. Come on.
Yeah, that was tracking. It just catches the last tree there and kicks away from the basket.
Still a good shot. Unfortunate kick. You heard Pat talking about the wind there. The wind was changing direction a lot during this round. The speed would fluctuate, the direction would change.
Nikko just pures the line here.
Perfect.
That's what we're looking for on this hole.
Here's Nick.
Oh, ouch.
Got a hold of that one a little bit. Well, that kind of thing happens to everyone.
Your previous pure Hyzer production, Browns and Bows, I swapped a tree right off the tee pad.
On
similar
11.
to this.
Yes, I remember.
Yeah, it was my girlfriend's favorite part, so that one was for you, darling. And this upshot
Is very nice.
yeah, that's gonna save my part.
Very
That's
nice.
right.
Basically the same shot you had to throw from the tee, but with a harder window to hit. And you nailed it.
In. Jesus.
Patrick, after kicking left off of that tree.
Great putt by Patrick.
Perfect. Dead center. Looked like a bit of an awkward straddle
Yeah, he had to
stance.
straddle to get around a tree there.
Yeah, smile out of Patrick. Nick for par. Good save.
Yeah, happy with the save there after that drive.
And Nikko with a drop-in birdie. 5 out of 6. Patrick with another birdie. Hole 7, one of the shortest holes at Bijou in either placement.
Yeah, as you can see the stumps here. This is one of the holes that was cleaned up a lot a few years ago. This used to be the route where a lot of us are taking here used to be impossible.
Woof, woof, woof.
Good shot from Nikko.
The slides went up there.
Didn't quite get the distance he wanted, but he missed that last tree that Pat hit.
I like to throw a bit of a turnover in this shot.
Yeah, Nick taking the Annie line,
Oh, nice.
local route, and that's how it's done.
Good tap.
Jessica with the sidearm, same window that Nick hit with the Annie. And she's just a little past it. That was a decent shot. Patrick with a long look at 2. Didn't quite commit on that one. Jessica over by the next tee pad.
Yes.
Great
Nice
putt.
putt. Nice putt.
Nice putt.
Nikko for birdie.
That's it.
Nice birdie. This can be a little more of a challenging hole to putt at times if you're one of those who's distracted by movement.
Absolutely. There's
Busy intersection right there.
a couple holes here at Bijou, play next to the road, and that's part of it out here.
Three birdies and a par.
Hey, happy to get under par.
Hole 8, another little short hole. 249. That fence you see to the left there is OB.
Straight out of the approach. And yeah, There's a hidden tree back there, maybe even a stump that Nikko caught and just rolled away from the basket.
Wow.
Yeah, a little bit unfortunate. I'm going to take a similar line here and just miss that tree.
It's a good shot. Jessica put a little too much juice on that one.
She flipped that one a little bit.
She's down by the 9th pad, a ways past the basket. Another window I've seen on this is going for that window on the right.
Yeah, there's a Hyzer
stable.
look. There, a lot of locals take that Hyzer route.
That's actually my preferred route. Pat clips one of those trees as well.
Water that doesn't sit.
Yeah, I like that line to the right with a gator or something similar. Really helps control the distance.
She has to go from about 40.
Nikko after that roll away.
Get up there. Come on.
Wanted that one.
Yeah, it's a short hole. It's frustrating to miss, but I mean, rollaways can happen on easy holes as well as tough ones. It's not really his fault.
Oh, good push. Wow.
Pat not too happy with missing that one.
You're here, Nick.
Really want to get some birdies here and turn my round around.
Well, you got the only birdie on that hole, which is surprising to see. Only 1 out of 4 from this card. Tap in pars, and Nick and Pat are actually tied now at 2 under. Hole 9 and the B pin, 363 feet. Again, that OB fence can come into play.
Yeah, it's a good disc golf shot. It plays well for a righty backhand. You gotta carry about 350, 340 through that gap. Then let your disc fall to the left. I flip mine over here.
And there you can see the basket pretty close to the fence, actually. All 3 placements for this hole are close to that fence. Another beautiful drive
Really
from
pierce that
Nikko.
gap again.
His drives have just been on point so far. And his putts 90% of the time as well.
Woo!
Great shot by Jessica.
Patrick needs that to hold. Just catches that last guardian tree coming through the center.
Very close.
Really a good shot, just caught the last tree.
He looked like he didn't take much time on
Might have
that.
rushed that up shot a little bit. A little frustration.
Nice upshot there. She's there for a 3, and the fact that Jessica had a long look at 2 on this, that's pretty impressive. This hole is 363.
Yeah, good.
Left side.
Pat getting a little frustrated there. That will be a bogey for him. Oh. Nikko gives me the thumbs up. Still pretty frustrated missing that, but he's still having a great round so far, despite that. Nick and Jessica tap in for 3. And Patrick with the bogey.
Yeah, that's the tough hole. Being as close as he was, he obviously wants to get that deuce, but there's nothing wrong with walking away with a 3 on hole 9 in that position.
On to the back 18. Hole 10 in the C-pin, 420 feet. Big Hyzer out there, or a sidearm. Pretty far down to the right.
Turn one through the gap here.
Just a little too much turn on it. You can see the basket down there. If that had just stabled out a little bit, gotten some slide, it was very close.
Nikko throws another beautiful drive out here at Bijou Disc Golf Course, right up under the basket.
It's perfect. Jessica, I think, going with the sidearm here. And she Hyzered that a bit too much. But she's down there. It's another long hole.
Patrick puts a good turn on it a little early, catches a really nice tree, and goes straight at the back.
That tree, that is the definition of tree love right there. Redirected him right towards it.
He maybe deserved it after the last hole.
And that's disc golf. Bad breaks and good breaks. You never know when you're going to get them.
It's a game of inches.
Yep. Jess with a par. And Patrick with the birdie after some tree love. Nikko with the birdie too, and Nick with the par.
And that's a bit of a bonus there, birdie on hole 10. A good stroke on most players in the field.
Yeah, absolutely, it's a
Taking
tough
deuce on that
one.
hole.
And two of them got it here.
Yeah, really nice.
Hole 11D, another one where the fence comes into play, as you can see there on the map, pretty close to the pin. Nikko takes the Hyzer line on the right.
A little early, a little short on that one.
A little bit, but he's got a long look at two. He still had a putt at every hole. Patrick trying for the same line, but
It just stretches out on him a little bit. I
Yep.
expected that to Hyzer a little bit more.
Nikko short left, Patrick deep right.
He might be having trouble getting his elevation dialed in with stability.
That is always a factor, as we were talking about.
How about
A
it?
little,
Run.
How about it?
Run.
Skipping the hole.
little tree kick right there.
I got some love on this hole.
Without that last bush, you could have been real close too. With
Take love
the
anywhere I can
skip,
get it.
yeah. Oh. You know, it's a lot harder to be accurate when you're using 95 to 100% of your power, which, you know, Jessica is on a hole like this. It's harder to be accurate than when you can power down and really do a control shot.
Hyzer's out on her here.
Yep, that's OB on the other side of that fence. And here's Patrick.
Yeah, get stable. Thank you.
Maybe give it a chance. That's a long look.
I think James Proctor just gave me a bit of a razz here. I blame him.
Yeah, I do remember that situation. I don't think I caught it on video, but he told Nick, I'm going to wait here and watch you bang this putt. And I do remember having the thought of, oh, I wouldn't be too happy if someone said that to me right as I'm about to putt.
That's all. It's all love.
Yeah. Everybody just having a good time. I'm sure Nick and James have played many rounds together.
Come on, Nikko.
Tiny bit low for Nikko. Patrick with a par. Nick with the par as well. And unfortunately, Jessica with a 5P there after hitting that tree and then going out of bounds. It's a rough hole. And Nikko with the par as well, so no birdies. Patrick and Nick still tied at 2 under. Nikko at 7. Hole 12 and the C-pin, 434 feet.
Really nice view off this tee pad. You have a look at Heavenly Mountain there in the background.
Very picturesque hole here at Bijou. One of the most open tee shots at Bijou as well.
Yeah, you can really air one out here, and Nikko does it nicely.
Yep. It's only protected around the basket to speak of.
Oh, you gotta throw it in the air, Patrick.
Like Patrick said, he needed to get that one up a little bit.
Yep. A little more height. It would have had time to finish turning and hopefully get some fade. He was right. Just a little low.
This one, I wanted to get a good rip on this one, pulled it over.
Yeah, that can happen when one goes all out on power quite easily. And this is far. 430.
Yeah, it's about all I've got right now. Jessica follows Patrick and I over there to the right side. Must have been a headwind picked up and got us all.
Jess skipped through those branches and got out into the open. Nick's got a tough lie
a really
here.
tough lie here.
Yeah.
This isn't my preferred shot, a reach out flicker, but
With your leg jammed into a bush. I
Yes.
thought that was everyone's preferred shot.
I gave myself a putt.
Jessica close to where Nick was, but easier lie. Nice Hyzer putter up shot.
Yeah, smooth shot there, Jess.
Patrick's up shot. When he's got a, kind of routine 150-foot up shot, he does not take a lot of time. And Nick for par.
Trying to get under those branches. Back in the good old days, we'd have counted that one.
Yeah, that, for those who don't know, is actually a relatively recently changed rule in the PDGA. That used to count, but now it does not.
It shouldn't count.
I agree. It shouldn't. So that is Nick's bogey drop in right there.
It's a pretty stiff putter. I was surprised. That doesn't happen to me often.
That is actually the first time I've seen that happen. I've obviously seen plenty of pictures. Nikko just low on that. He did have some branches. Jessica with a nice par. Patrick as well.
Yeah, with Nikko's distance, that's a stroke he hopes to get on most of the field.
Absolutely, and that's understandable. But for Jessica, that's a good par. I doubt anyone in her group is going to be getting a 2 on that hole. Hole 13C, 321 feet. A lot of trees on this one.
Yeah, a couple different lines here.
Come on,
We're trying
Nikko.
Sneak it.
the punch high, the punch flat with something stable up in the sky there and let it hyzer out.
And his just hyzered a little early, but other than that was pretty much the ideal shot. That is my preferred line
That's
as well.
the line you see a lot of players with the capable arms taking this line. There's also a flick route through the middle. There's a flick route over the top. And a thumber route as well if you have a big
Stabled
thumber.
out and then through the trees.
Jessica sees her sidearm window.
Yeah, she goes for that middle flick route and really puts a nice shot.
That is a beautiful shot right there. Gets through all the trees, and she's just past the basket a little. The good look at 2.
The same line as Nikko and Patrick here, and yeah, I got it off pretty nicely.
Yep, you got it a little wider than both of them did, and that'll put you out there for a good look at 2. Patrick giving the long jump putt, or in his case, step putt, a chance. And here's Jessica for birdie. Beautiful.
Really nice birdie there by Jessica. I consider this a bonus birdie for
Definitely
my
is.
division.
Yeah, I mean, for any division, really, when there's that many trees, it doesn't matter what division you are.
Nikko just kind of off a little bit here on a few holes on his putts. I really want this one to get me back on track, but it's just not quite falling today.
Just a tiny bit low for both Nick and Nikko. And that's Pat tapping in a par, and Nikko and Nick are going to be tapping in pars as well. So Jessica actually takes the tee from 2 MPO players and 1 top Masters player. Well done, Jessica.
I'm not surprised.
A 14C, 384 feet. The preferred route is a big Annie out over the field, I think.
Yeah, I think that's the cleanest line you can take. A really big anti shot, or a big flick if you've got it. Jessica tries the inside flick here and puts a really nice line on it.
Yeah, that's looking nice.
She ends up catching a late tree down there and getting knocked down, but that'll set her up for an easy 3. It was a good looking shot.
I mean, the 380-foot hole, I think she's going to be playing for 3 anyway.
Nikko goes for the big turnover. Gets it down
Perfect.
there.
Textbook and Hyzer shot right there. Just held the same line the whole way, came down by the basket.
Patrick goes for a backhand line here, which I've seen some players pull off. It's a tough route, though.
Yeah, it's, you know, if both routes have trees, I can see picking one over the other depending on your strengths and weaknesses. But when you have a wide open out over the field route, then that kind of seems like the smart move. Oh, Patrick gave that a run.
Yeah, that's just missed.
Big jump putt from Jessica. A little past it, but she's all right. And Nick's there for a par.
Nikko for birdie. Oh.
Yeah, finally. Got one above the rim.
Puts one in.
Yep, he's happy to make one after a few rough ones there.
It's a good hole to get a birdie on.
Good par putt from Patrick. And I'll remind everyone again at this point that Nikko has still had a look at every hole. No farther than 40 feet on anything. Good par from Jessica. Another birdie for Nikko, puts him 8 under. (15C) 297, slightly uphill. Pretty straightforward Hyzer shot. One of the more basic holes at Bijou, no matter where it's at, really.
That's the basket we're going to, right?
Yeah.
Nikko wanting to make sure he's throwing at the correct
Yeah,
basket.
and that's actually a good opportunity to let everyone know that Nikko was playing this course completely blind. And that is a nice shot. He's there for a look at 2. Out of the 5 courses at King of the Lake, Nikko had a chance to play 3 of them before the tournament, and this was one of the ones he did not play. So he is playing this course blind. Jessica with a little too much turn on that. It did look like there might have been some left to right wind as well. Nice shot by Patrick.
Really want to get this hole and get my round back on track. One of those holes I feel like I should get more than half the time. Convert a nice shot.
That is a good shot right there. Look at that. That has got to be CTP. And Jess has a long look here. A little high. Another good birdie from Nikko. Good birdie from Patrick as well. Jessica with the par, and here's Nick's drive.
These are the kind of birdie putts we like.
The kind where as soon as you see your disc, your mind is already on the next hole. Okay, I birdied this one.
That's right. You can quit worrying.
Yeah, get that little mental break. 3 birdies and a par. And we're on to hole 16 in the C-pin, 417 feet. Big downhill shot, just slightly downhill. It's not an easy one. And here's James Proctor, who was in the group ahead of the group I was filming.
Get off of it. Now slow down.
Barely misses that tree and slides over there for a look. And from what I've heard, he did hit that putt. James is the 2nd highest rated player at this tournament after Nikko.
Yeah, it's always nice to throw in a James Proctor drive. Nice 400-something foot rip straight. Nikko Hyzer's out. He'll have a putt from there.
Yeah, it's pin high, just left. Oh, that turned over for Patrick.
4.
That just held and kept going right. He's over by the next tee pad.
Some things are worth repeating over and over, and I'd like to mention that this is the hole that Greg Barsby chained out on in a King of the Lake playoff a few years prior. He threw this was the first hole of the playoff. He threw just a pure shot. It chained out left side.
Yeah, it was him and Jerry Eshelman,
and Jerry
right?
Eshelman in the playoff, and Jerry almost just dropped his frisbee and walked away, but he went ahead and had a throw, and Greg ended up taking it on this hole with a birdie, tap-in birdie.
And that Hyzer got a little early for Jess, but I mean, it's a long hole. And that is the second half of Patrick's upshot from the bushes there. I didn't quite start recording in time. There he is. It was kind of a tough shot, and he's there for a par. Nice high spike Hyzer upshot from Jess. Just catches some branches there at the end, but she's still got to look at 3. Just a little low for Nikko. That's not a bad one to par, though. Great par save by Jessica there. Pure Hyzer putting. And I believe that is a par frame.
Jump like it's garbage so far.
Nikko's not happy about his jump putts. Still 9 down after 16 holes. Giving himself a birdie look at everything.
It's a good pace.
Hole 17B, 370 feet. This is quite a tunnel shot here. This is a tough one.
This is a tough hole. There's a few different routes you can take. Nikko takes the most aggressive one possible,
Well, of course.
as per usual. And he puts a great shot on this.
Barely missed that one branch there. Oh, I clipped the other one. But he's out there.
Yeah, he's past the basket, which is something that I've never seen.
Yeah, it's certainly tough to throw 350 through a window like this.
Yeah, good stop on the board.
And it was out of frame there, but what he's talking about is his last step was a little too far forward, and he stepped on the wood at the edge of the tee pad, preventing the rotation he needed.
I was inspired by Nikko's shot. Figured I'd try up the middle as well. Hyzer's out on me a bit, but
Guys are out, but you missed all the trees at least.
I did. I'll take that lie all day long.
Jessica once again with the sidearm. Ooh. Well, fairway's not bad. All in all, she's in the middle. Patrick with a tricky looking up shot here.
Can I get some more wind?
A little past it, not too bad.
A little more wind.
Still not happy with the wind changing up 5 times per hole.
Yeah, the Bijou is one of those courses where the wind swirls out here. It's never really too consistent. We don't deal with a whole lot of wind out here, but the days when we do, it comes in thermal movements and swirling, and it's really hard to predict.
Yeah, and this was actually a much windier day than usual for Tahoe golf.
It was.
Doesn't look like it right now, but it came and went for the whole round.
Nikko putting back at the basket for deuce.
Oh my god.
Yeah, his putter clipped that a little bit as he was putting. I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
Yeah, he got a bad release there. And
Yeah.
never had a chance.
You guys care if I
Patrick with the comebacker for par. Nice putt.
Jessica with the bogey there. And Nick with a par. 3 pars and a bogey, and birdies are probably not very common on that hole, despite that it's, quote, only 350. It's just a really tough window to hit. 18C, 360.
This is a pretty technical shot. You have to air it out over those bushes with the righty backhand and then let it fade in late towards the basket. Nikko saws it off a bit early.
Yeah, it's just too much Hyzer. Basket is a ways out there.
Oh yeah, come on.
Patrick just a little low again. It's happened to him a few times, but you know, if that shot had had the height, I think that would have been pretty good.
Yeah, it was a pretty good line.
It was a little low as well. You might have gotten over the bushes, though. A little short, but decent. I think clipping that little twig did take something off of it at the end there. Yeah, routine upshot. Patrick does the same. Another one of his quick upshots. Nikko's there for a par as well. And this is another one that's really not that bad to par. Jessica put a little too much power on that.
Okay, save 3 again.
That's too bad.
Yeah, she's missed a few of them just low.
Patrick with the par, and Nikko with the par as well. Yeah, it seems like for the last couple holes, Jessica has been a little overzealous on her upshots. Just going a little past the basket. Three pars and a bogey. It's kind of a tough stretch of holes right here in this section of Bijou. D, 324 feet.
Yeah, I really like this hole. You have to hit a tunnel with height. You know, you have to get over those bushes and under the trees and keep it squared up. And if you float it out enough, you can really get a putt on it.
It's a very unique disc golf shot. You got to have the height and the right window to hit, and you got to have a little bit of hyzer, but not too much hyzer, and just
yeah, it's a fun shot.
A very finesse shot. And that is the shot right there. Patrick showed us how it's done.
Just clipped. I had a good line on that.
Yeah, that sounded like something really small that you clipped too. One of those things you can't even see from the tee pad, you know. Oh.
It's a sound you hear often out here at Bijou Disc Golf Course.
Yeah. Get in.
Nice looking sidearm.
Great upshot. It's a good scramble. That's what good golfers do. They scramble and they fight for their pars.
Not quite the release you wanted on that. And here's Patrick for birdie.
Nice.
Solid putt. Didn't seem to have the confidence in that one.
Yeah, that never got above the rim. Never had a chance.
And that's a good par save for Jessica after where her drive was. Great second shot.
Yeah.
And a good birdie from Patrick. Puts him 4 down now. Hole 20 in the C-pin, 351. Long straight shot, slight right at the end. Slightly to the right.
Yeah, a few different ways to play this. Patrick going for this straight at it. Just gotta miss these couple of trees. I'll give you a putt.
Yep, that's a good shot. And that kind of just kept hyzering for Nikko.
Yeah, I never flipped up for him.
Looked like he was hoping to play a Hyzer flip shot there, and it just didn't flip. But he stayed out in the open, and he's got a long look at 2 with nothing in the way.
I threw this one pretty clean. There must be a bit of headwind. It turned over more than I expected.
Yeah, and this is a very protected tee pad, so if there is wind, you don't feel it as much here. And you can actually see in the branches now it is picking up.
Really nice shot by Jessica.
Yeah. And Nick's there for a par, and here's Nikko's look at 2. Just high. He went for that one.
Yeah,
committed.
It was a good confident
Yep.
putt there from outside the circle.
Nothing wrong with that putt. Jessica high on that putt.
That was Patrick's birdie putt there, and he's not going to be happy with
Yeah.
that.
And Jessica, long look at 3 now after blowing by on her birdie look. That's always frustrating, going from a birdie look to a bogey. Patrick with the par. This is another one where if you're putting from, the tee side of the basket, you can have cars driving by on that road, and if you're distracted by that kind of thing, it can get to you. Could have maybe been what happened to Patrick on his birdie look there. 3 pars and a bogey. Well, 21D, 375. This is arguably the hardest hole at Bijou in the current layout.
Yeah, it's either this one or hole 4.
Well, 4's farther, but this,
There's not much of a gap here.
Patrick tries to throw straight at it, and that almost hit the line, actually. That was just...
About all you can ask for.
Yeah, like you said, the game of inches. And then players like Nikko have this option. Huge sky Annie. Up and over everything. And it came down pretty short left.
Try to flick right up the gut here, and I thought I put a really good look at this one and
Yeah.
catch one of those trees.
You put a good look on the flick, and Pat threw a
Similar
nice
to-
backhand.
Similar to Patrick's shot, just there's not much of a gap there. Jessica taking the big route. You can play around the corner here and then have a shot up towards the basket. You're never really going to get a birdie putt on that.
But it's the smartest and safest way to get a 3.
Safe way to play the hole.
I told her after this hole, well done playing it smart and playing for 3.
Nice, full.
Ooh, Patrick clips a tree on his upshot. Nice upshot from Nick, and that did stop short of the OB fence there.
Yeah, there is a fence maybe 15, 16 feet behind the basket.
As if this wasn't hard enough. Nice upshot from Jessica. And a drop-in par on this. That's great.
Yeah, well played.
What more can you want? And you might be right that hole 4 is less reachable than this, but I think bad scores are probably more common
Yeah, I'd
on
be
this hole than
curious
hole 4.
what the scoring averages were on the 2 holes.
A couple birdies probably happened on this hole. People
Yeah, a couple more birdies.
throwing up the
probably
gut, just hitting the line.
More 6s.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Overall, I would bet that this would have the worst average, even though there might be a few more birdies on this than hole 4.
It wasn't OB, but I'm going to take my meter relief here. No, nothing wrong with the par on that hole.
Not at all. I have always played this hole for par when it's in this placement myself. As an AM player, of course, so maybe that doesn't apply to these people here, but... And Patrick with the unfortunate bogey there, clipping trees on his drive and his upshot.
Yeah, that's one of the risks with the middle gap. You can put a really good line on it, clip one of those trees, get an awkward kick, have a tough upshot, and now you're looking at a 4.
Absolutely.
Where the route Jessica took, she played the open gap and she had a pretty routine 3.
22B, 306. A lot of options for this one as well.
Let's just keep that one on the video, dude. We gotta show that.
And we actually couldn't see it, Nikko.
No. Yeah, you couldn't see it. His body was blocking it. It just came out low.
He threw it in the dirt.
Clipped the bushes right there.
I put a really nice line on this one. I was digging that shot, caught the last tree coming in.
Yeah, I remember that one. I thought you were going to be parked.
Yeah.
Jessica's got a nice sidearm window. She's always happy when that's an option.
Yeah, pretty good shot there by Jessica.
Gets a nice skip, and yeah, she's got to look at 2.
Patrick taking another route up and over the top.
Yeah,
Woo! Fighter.
it's a viable option. And here's Nikko on his second shot. Throwing a Scooby, I believe.
Yeah, Nikko throws a Scooby here, and
Come on.
he threw this a lot at the Browns and Bows tourney, and he's got it dialed in.
He
It's
really
a straight
does.
up and down shot. It goes where you throw it. And
You put your thumb on the rim of the disc, but throw it like a backhand, and it just kind of dive
yeah,
bombs
it's
instead of
useful.
hyzering.
It's just another tool that you can use for disc golf, and a great player like Nikko utilizes it.
Of course, he's got to have every shot in the bag.
Birdie putt here.
Oh.
Doesn't quite pull left for me.
And Jessica for birdie, CTP.
Hell yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, clip the yellow band at the top a tiny bit. You could hear it
With the birdie, and she's gonna take the tee box again with that.
again, 2 times this round. Nikko with the par. And actually, this hole and the previous one were the first 2 that Nikko did not really have birdie looks at, to speak of. Holes 21 and 22. So he went 20 holes in a row having looks at all of them.
That's getting off the tee really well.
That's just
impressive.
unbelievable. .23C, 325.
Another one of those really good disc golf holes that has multiple routes that players attempt.
Hyzer.
Jessica goes for the hyzer up the gut. Just a little high right.
Yeah, you got to keep it low when you're taking that route because you get over 5 feet and the branches start to really clog up the fairway.
Keep it low and play the skip.
Nikko taking a route that I've never seen here. He's trying to throw a giant hyzer up and around that biggest tree.
And it came down pretty close to the basket,
Yeah,
actually.
he's got a tree in his way there, but he found himself a putt. I take the flick lane here. Got to push towards those back trees and then just let a stable disc fall off to the right.
And I've seen plenty of people throw an anti-backhand that same route as well.
Exactly.
This is a great hole. You just see so many different approaches. I've seen thumbers. Any number of shots on this hole. Except, like you said, like Nikko's spike hyzer.
Patrick going right at it.
And that's that line.
That's more like it. That's
And that'll work.
Perfect
Very
shot.
nice shot.
Jessica's upshot after clipping some trees.
Good upshot. She's throwing the disc up near the basket when she needs to on a lot of these holes.
Nikko for birdie.
Nikko gives another confident run. I mean, his putts outside of the circle, a lot of them are miss high. The ones he misses from inside the circle, a lot of them miss low.
That's an interesting observation.
can hear a straddle putt out around the tree, and really happy to get a birdie on this hole.
That's a good putt. And Nikko's rolled away a little, so he's got a comebacker for par. And as you were saying, missing high from outside the circle and low from inside.
Yeah, all over the basket. That was another one that just didn't get above the rim.
Yep. And that's actually going to be Nikko's first bogey. He was bogey free until this point. Couple birdies from Patrick and Nick. And Jessica with the par. Couple holes left here at Bijou. 24D, 425.
Yes, you gotta throw a strong shot through the initial guardian trees here. Let the disc fly for a while, and then Hyzer in towards the basket. A few more guardian trees late.
Yeah, after that first gap there, it's pretty open until you're in the circle. You could hit one of those last trees and still have a good look.
Patrick Hyzer's out a bit early.
And gets a huge skip way left as well. Still have a long look though.
Don't quite find the initial gap there.
Yeah, I have hit that same tree myself more than once. Now you can actually miss to the right of it and still be fine. Just have to be either side. Oh,
Jessica takes a few
Ping pong.
a few kicks. She says ping pongs are way down the fairway.
yep. I think that drive would have been really good if she'd missed that tree. She would have gotten some good S-curve out of it.
Yeah, I've noticed she's throwing backhand for a lot of her distance shots, which
Her backhand's been improving a lot.
yeah.
I mean, you can see even in this round, she still does favor the flick. There are a lot of holes where she throws sidearm and everybody else is throwing backhand, but her backhand is improving a lot as well.
I'd like to give a shout out to my caddy here, Tony, carrying my Upper Parks designed bag. Tony does a whole lot of work out here at the Bijou Disc Golf Course. He's put in a lot of time doing a ton of course improvements, and it really shows. The course is in great shape right now.
Yeah, he's been working on all the tee pads, and he's been out just clearing debris and pine cones and stuff off the fairways to take that kind of random element out of it.
Yeah,
A great guy, donates a lot of his time to the course.
yeah. Nice enough to caddy for me this round and the round at Zephyr.
Ooh,
Patrick Brown just an inch high.
barely.
And sneak one in there for par.
It's in.
Coming down the stretch here, I didn't want to take a bogey on hole 24. Trying to salvage a decent round at the end here.
Yeah, it's a good save from where you were after your drive kicked right. Jessica for par. Another nice putt. And here's Nikko for birdie after a beautiful drive.
Really nice drive.
And Patrick with the par. And Nikko with a birdie there is back to 9 down, and everybody else parred. Well, 25, they've got in the A pin, 240 feet. One of the few holes that got placed easy for King of the Lake.
Yeah, this is probably the easiest hole in the course, I'd have to say.
In this layout,
it's
definitely.
just right there.
Yep.
Smooth. Nikko
Tink.
hits the lock. Patrick's looking for this one to flip a little. Yeah, he actually sails past the basket pretty far there.
Yeah, it was a good line. It was just too much power. And actually, I heard him talking about it, and there's another placement, the same line but deeper, and I think he thought the basket was there. He was saying that after the hole.
Is that what it was?
Yeah. Nice shot by Jessica, too. She's there. And here's Patrick. After blowing by it a little.
Just over the top.
Gave that a chance. Didn't take much time on that shot either. Jessica for 2. Good birdie.
Wrong position, I think.
You can hear him there saying wrong position, I think. So he thought he was shooting at a different placement.
Should have parked that other position.
Nick and Nikko both with tap-in birdies. Three birdies and a par. Probably would have been a star frame if Pat was aware that the basket was shorter than he thought. And we're on to hole 26, C. Notice that volleyball court on the sign, that is OB. Just short left of the basket. This is another tough hole.
It's a tough hole, and there's multiple routes here as well. This is the most commonly used route. Up the middle, looking for a big skip in the end, and he just catches one of those late guardian trees before you exit towards the green.
Yep. Yeah, it's a tough shot, but that's it. Just overstable, low hyzer out there and get the huge skip.
I'm
That's
trying a flat T-bird here over that rock towards the gazebo, and just turned it over a little bit too much. You can see the basket there in the background.
yeah, there's definitely that Annie line right there over the rock.
It's asking a lot, but there's not a whole lot on this hole.
Hurry.
Jessica taking the wide sidearm line.
Yeah, that's a route that, you know, that's a good route, but you have to get over the volleyball court coming in that way.
Almost did too. She was right at the back right corner of it going towards the pin, and she actually didn't even know.
She was unaware of the volleyball court was there. She hit the line she was looking for. You know, that can be frustrating.
And putting from where she landed, I mean, she would have been looking at like a 40-footer for birdie, but instead...
it was a good shot, given the knowledge she had.
Yeah. It's kind of a strange OB because of the hill. You can't see it at all from the tee pad. You kind of just have to know it's there.
This is a turnover out over that OB, over the volleyball court towards the basket.
Yeah, that's Patrick's upshot. I was not in a very good spot to get it, but he's there for a look at 3. And Nico's there for a 3 as well.
Like right
And
here?
here you can see the volleyball court. Jess is estimating where she went OB. That's probably about right. And she hyzered over it and just stopped at the far corner there towards the basket. That's frustrating, not knowing about it, throwing a great shot, and then finding out you're OB. Yep, she's there for a 4P. She probably thought she'd have a long birdie look after her drive.
Yeah, it can be frustrating. You know, I'll say Jessica showed a lot of maturity during the round, though. She had a few bad breaks, but I thought she kept it together pretty well.
Well, it makes sense for someone just coming off her first NT win.
Yeah,
She's
that's a walk in the park. She's won an
improving.
NT.
Takes the bogey and moves on. What else can you do? And Nikko for par. And Nick with a bogey there, I think.
Yeah, it was a bogey. It's just, you don't want to take a bogey coming down the stretch to finish your round, but it's not an easy hole, and bogeys happen.
Yeah, no birdies on that. 2 pars and 2 bogeys. 1 hole to go. Hole 27B, 338, uphill. And Nikko's up first.
Nice clean drive up there by Nikko and no putt.
Yep. A little too much juice on it, but right in line. Just a little deep.
Annie, just a little bit.
Patrick looking for a bit more turn on that one.
It held enough to miss the trees, though, so
Yeah.
he's still up there. And that's a pretty good shot. Near circle's edge.
Jessica opting for the backhand. It's a nice rip on it.
All right, great shot. Nikko, long look at 2. Yeah, he's a little frustrated. Patrick for birdie.
Nice putt, Patrick. Good way to finish the round.
Great way to finish. He's got a very interesting step putt from that range.
Yeah. Thought I had that one. Just high.
She wanted to finish on the birdie too. That was a good looking putt. Just inches too high.
Just looking to get off the course.
Nikko taps in his par. Jessica does the same. And that wraps up 27 holes at Bijou. A lot of golf left at King of the Lake, though.
Yeah, there's 27 down. What's that? 72 to go?
Yeah, 99 total. Nikko finishes at 10 under there.
Yeah.
Here you see the PDGA results after round 1. Jessica's sitting in first place. And actually, Mike Loya shot a 14 under and is sitting in first place in the Masters division. Here's Open. And you can see the players at the top who we're going to be following for round 2 at Zephyr. We've got James Proctor, Nico Locastro, Jason Herm, David Madruga, and Jerry Eshelman. Shasta Chris actually shot the same score as Jerry, but Jerry's got a lower PDGA number, so he made the lead card for round 2. Well, that wraps it up for round 1 at King of the Lake. 27 holes at Bijou Disc Golf Course.
Yeah, so the players are going to grab lunch and head on over to Zephyr Cove, maybe a 20-minute drive from Bijou.
Yeah, it's a day 1 at King of the Lake is a big day. 27 holes followed by 18 more at a more challenging course, all in a day. Lunch break is short. You usually have to just eat on your way to the next course, and
Yeah.
tournament keeps right on going. It's really...
Yeah, 27 there at Bijou, and then you walk over to Zephyr, or you go over to Zephyr, a couple big hikes there to get to a couple of those tee pads.
Yeah.
It's really a test of endurance here at King of the Lake.
It is, and then 2 more courses the next day, and then 1 final course on Sunday. So
Yeah, a lot of players
nonstop.
are really dragging by the final round of Tahoe Vista there, so it's a big aspect out here. Yeah, it was a really fun round, and I'm always happy to be a part of a pure Hyzer production. Yeah.
Thank you, Nick. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, Nikko started off super hot. Got the first 4 putts on the first 20 holes, as you said.
Yeah.
And he fizzled off a bit towards the end, gave a few other players a chance coming into the rest of the tournament here.
A little bit, but I mean, he's only off the lead by a stroke going into round 2. James Proctor shot an 11 under there at Bijou.
Yeah, James Proctor with the hot round. He's got the lead going into round 2 at Zephyr.
Yeah, and then I believe there's a couple people tied at 10 under and a couple people tied at 9 under.
Yeah,
So it's a real tight race.
It's a tight race going into round 2. After Zephyr, we go up to North Lake Truckee and play round 3 at Sierra College. Another really challenging course. Sierra College for me is one of the best courses around the lake. It's really challenging, really epic shots up there, different terrain.
It's really my personal favorite Tahoe course as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, a few par 4s out there, and a lot of really good shots. Another Craig Getty design. After Sierra College,
we go to Truckee River, which is also in Truckee. So day 2, Saturday, both courses are in Truckee. Truckee River is probably going to be the easiest course of King of the Lake.
Yeah, I'd say Truckee is the course where you really want to score on. And I mean, you could call it the easiest, but that sort of makes it the toughest for me, because if you're not scoring, you're falling behind. So you really need to go out there and get your birdies at
the
Truckee
shortest,
River.
the shortest course.
The
shortest, I should say.
the shortest, but maybe most challenging, because it's a really must get. Players will be shooting in the double digits out there.
Absolutely.
At the King of the Lake.
So then after those 4 courses, the final course on day 3 on Sunday is Tahoe Vista.
Yeah, wrap things up at Tahoe Vista, another mountain course. You know, a few good hikes out there, some good lake views.
It's an epic course to finish on. It's got a couple par 4s
Yeah.
as well, and a 1,000 plus foot par 5 to finish off the tournament, the 99th hole. So
Yeah, that's classic Tahoe disc golf, and there's always pressure coming down to that last hole. And you know, in the years past, I've been fortunate enough to be on the lead card.
That's
coming
true.
Down that last hole, you know, and watch the guys battling it out.
That's true. And on that note, I can mention that the first Pure Hyzer Productions video was the final round of King of the Lake last year, and Nick Long was actually in that video. He was featured in the very first Pure Hyzer production.
Yeah.
So for those newer subscribers who haven't seen it yet, maybe go back and check that out and see what the last round at King of the Lake was like last year.
Yeah, it's a good video. Matt Bell ends up taking that one down.
He does. Matt Bell's in it, and he takes it down. James Proctor's in it as well.
Yeah.
There's Jerry Eshelman's in it. And
Yeah, and
Nick
Nick
Long.
Long. Shasta rounded out that card. Was it?
No, it was Chris Shotwell.
Chris Shotwell,
Chris
that's
Shotwell
right.
was on
Yeah,
that
Shotwell,
card as well.
yeah.
So yeah, that's an interesting video, and that's the same course and roughly, if not exactly, the same layout. We'll see for the final round this year. So for those who can't wait, maybe go check that out and stay tuned for rounds 2 through 5 this year. All 5 Tahoe courses.
Yeah,
It's bound to be some epic coverage.
yeah. King of the Lake, 2015.
And lastly, I got to thank my girlfriend Jen too for coming along for the whole tournament and using my old camera that I used to do PHP coverage on to get the second angle. You saw a lot of it at the Bijou video, especially on blind holes. It really looks a lot better when you can
It looks really nice.
when you can see the result of those shots that from the tee they disappear behind a bush, you know, and you can't really tell if it was good or not. So
Thanks, Jen.
yeah, thanks for
And I also want to give a shout out to my sponsors. Upper Park Designs makes some of the best bags in the game. Really comfortable, versatile, usable. Also, True Line Customs. Being on Team True Line is one of the funnest parts about disc golf to me. A lot of great guys in the team, and Bruce takes care of us. It's a really fun aspect. Should also say thanks to my couple caddies I had during the King of the Lake. Tony, who we mentioned before, and also Sky, local up there in Tahoe, who carried my bag for a couple rounds, which really helps on a tournament like that. It can be so grueling, so exhausting. To have someone carrying your disc, it saves you strokes.
Definitely. Having a caddy at King of the Lake might be more important than almost any other tournament out there.
I agree.
mean, endurance is such a huge factor at this tournament.
It's a big advantage.
Yeah. So there's a lot of exciting golf left here at King of the Lake, so don't forget to subscribe to Pure Hyzer Productions to get notified when the rounds 2 through 5 videos come up. For now, we'll go take a look at some of the highlights from Bijou, and there were some good ones from all the players.
Yeah, hopefully I made a couple
Oh,
cuts.
you're in there. Everybody's always in there.
All right, good.
All right, here we go.
Thanks, Pablo.
First up on the highlights, Nikko starting strong. His drive on hole 1.
That really nails the gap here.
Dead straight for the majority of the flight. Fades at the end just like he wants.
Just gets right across the basket. Leaves himself for a pretty easy putt there on hole 1. Here he goes. Up and in, and that's a great start.
Yep. Hole 1's a tough hole to get, and even easier holes are tough when they're the first hole of the day in a big tournament, you know? And here's Nikko again on hole 4.
This could be one of the highlights of the tournament. I talked about this for the rest of the tournament.
So did I.
After seeing this shot, people couldn't believe it. It's really, really impressive.
Just Hyzer flips it up, gets a little turn. More than a little turn, I should say, that holds nicely, fades at the end, and boom, in the circle on a 516-foot hole.
That was a 500-foot drive right there.
A 500-foot drive through a narrow gap with a controlled Hyzer flip shot. I mean, that's a Nikko Locastro shot right there if I've ever seen one. That is an incredible birdie. I wonder if anyone else got that at the tournament.
Maybe a throw-in.
Maybe. I doubt anyone else was in the circle. Maybe James Proctor, actually. That's
another guy that could reach it.
Here's Patrick on hole 5.
It's another pretty long hole here, 420 feet up the hill.
And he skips just past the basket It actually looks from this angle like he's really close, but he's actually got a good circle's edge putt here.
And he converts the birdie.
And that was the only birdie on that hole too, so Patrick took the tee. Here's Nikko Locastro on hole 6. Great Hyzer shot.
Nails the doorway into the basket.
Just parked for a 2. And here's Pat Brown putting on hole 6 after his drive kicked left.
Straddle around the tree.
Awkward stance. He's got a unique straddle putt. And that was solid. Great birdie. That's not often you get such a good smile out of Pat Brown. He's happy to hit that birdie.
It's good to see.
And here's Nick Long taking the Annie line on hole 7. Local route, nobody else went this way. Hugs the outside, slides it under the basket.
I got that putt.
Jessica, after her drive went deep right on hole 7. Long putt for 2. Great putt, Jessica. She's got that spin putt down. Next up, here's Nikko on hole 10.
It's a tough line to hit here on hole 10. It turns something over early that tries to flatten itself out. A little bit of stability, and
Nikko executes it perfectly under the basket. That turnover shot that you want to fight enough to stable out and start going straight, but without fading. It's a tough shot to pull off. And here's Patrick on the same hole. Watch this tree love.
It's a decent shot, but gets some
Boom.
real love here off the tree. That's nice.
That just made his shot finish as nicely as Nikko's. Couple of drop-in birdies on hole 10. And I'm sorry, Nick, but it's not something you see every day. Especially like you were saying with a stiff putter. I mean, if that happens, it's usually
it's not something I really.
someone
very
putting with
often.
gummy plastic or something. I mean, it's never happened to me. I've seen pictures, you know, but
Didn't quite get that one high enough on the little putt there, low ceiling.
And here's Jessica on hole 13.
It's a beautiful shot. It's not a shot I try very often, but whenever I can see someone execute it that nicely, it's really a pleasure to see.
Yeah, she really just nails the sidearm line there. She's just deep right, putting for birdie on 13. Solid. And that was one of the 2 times this round that Jessica took the tee. Nikko Locastro driving on hole 14.
Big turnover up towards Mount Friel. Falling to the right.
Perfect.
Really nice shot.
Nick Long driving on hole 15. Nice flat, straight shot with a stable disc. Gets the fade you want. Parked for a 2. Here's Patrick on hole 19. Great shot. Hits the window above the bushes. Putting for a 2.
Right in the heart. Great birdie.
Jessica Weese on hole 22.
This is a route I don't see very often here on hole 22 with the tight flick line. She does it really nicely.
Put a lot of hyzer on that, just played it low, played for the skip, and gave herself a look at 2. And here she is putting for birdie.
This is to take the box.
Once again. Fully commits to her putt. Right in the heart.
Ladies first on hole 23.
And here's Pat Brown on hole 23.
Pimps it.
Up the gut, hyzer shot. Executed flawlessly. And Nick Long putting on the same hole.
After the big flick shot. Nice to drop in a birdie.
Nice straddle putt from under the branches there.
Yeah, a little bit encumbered.
Yeah, not exactly routine footing. And Nikko Locastro on hole 24. Another
nice rip.
power shot.
Just between, centered those 2 trees there.
His form is just flawless.
When you throw a disc as hard as he throws on as accurately of a line as he does, it's really impressive to see.
And there he is, parked for a birdie on hole 24. Somehow he looks closer from this angle than he did from the tee. Easy deuce. And once again, Nikko on hole 25. It's not often I'll include a highlight on a 240-foot hole, but Nikko really does pure this shot.
Clean shot a little higher, and that's an ace run.
Slides it right up there and hits the pole. And last but not least, here's Pat Brown putting on hole 27.
Finish out the round, step putt. Tucks it in there.
Great putt.
Way to finish.
And some people may say those putts look strange, but if you watch that slowly, it's fully legal. The disc leaves his hand long before his foot hits the ground.
Absolutely.
Not long before, I should say, but well before.
Clean putt.
Great putt from Patrick. And that wraps it up for round 1 out of 5 at King of the Lake.
Is that James Proctor?
That is James Proctor. That is the PHP logo.
Nice try, James.
Sure, he'll appreciate you noticing. That was actually a clip from King of the Lake last year that I took and turned into that silhouette PHP logo. So that's it for round 1. Stay tuned for round 2, where we'll be following the open lead card at Zephyr Cove.